A DFS show with John Impemba and James Grande.
What is going on, FA Nation? Happy Friday and welcome into the Fantasy Alarm NBA DFS live stream. I'm your host, James Grande, joined by Keith Eister. Keith, happy Friday, brother. What's going on?
Happy Friday, man. Coming down with a little something. So if I sound a little bit off, my voice is a little scratchy. Got a little bit of stuffiness going on in the face. So coming down with something, it feels like, but we're here. We're ready to rock on this Friday night.
It's funny. I think I want to say 3, 4, 5 GPP wins last year when I was most sick, which is
like
insane. Jordan flu game. I mean, I feel like I had all of my biggest wins when I was sick. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was because my family just didn't want to be near me. So I was just cooped up in this chair at the computer, right? But it is Friday. We do have 5 games. It is spooky season here, Keith. We got the underdog tweet about an hour ago. Okay. And the Bulls are not on the main slate, but just for context, the Pacers, Jazz, Mavs, Grizzlies, and Bulls, all teams that are tanking, 4 of which on this main slate. There are 49 players between those 5 teams on the injury report. That is almost an average of 10 players per team. I said to you in the DFS playbook, I have not even thought about doing core plays yet because how could I? What would I deem a core play at this point?
It's tough to know when we don't know who's going to play in these games that are upcoming here.
I mean, Memphis, literally a very wide range of players that could play tonight, including Taj Gibson, former Bull great. He is questionable. We don't know if Jalen Duren's going to play. We don't have any idea who Indiana's going to send out there. Dallas has Najee Marshall listed questionable amongst a plethora of other players doubtful. I mean, it's just what it is. So before we get into the breakdown, we'll get into the chat. Rolly's here. Rolly coming off a nice showdown takedown last night. He tweeted at the Fantasy Alarm account. Rolly, salute to you, brother. Always crushing it in these streets. Some guy had a great lineup. The some guy lineup last night that he posted in Discord was Jokic-less and put up almost 350 without Jokic, which is a big score. No Jokic.
I had a similar lineup to that, actually. I think mine came in at like 344, had De Silva in it, but no Jokic. And I knew it was going to run out of steam too. As soon as Jokic started doing his thing, I'm like, I was up to like 29th at one point, and I'm like, it's not going to hold. Jokic is just having one of them nights.
And he wasn't. And then he was.
Right.
Like he wasn't until he was, right? Like he in the second quarter, he had like 1 assist, and then he had a lot more than that by the time the game ended. It is Friday the 13th. It is spooky season out here in the NBA streets. Gonna have to wash your dishes twice, says TC. My dishwasher works well enough where I just have to run it once. Jay Breezy with a third place. We thought we had a. I literally saw him in second in the $5 single last night, and I immediately went into Discord to ask if it was him, and he had already said it is me. I unfortunately got caught by the De'Aaron Fox rosters, but Jay Breezy had an elite lineup, finished third. Just Pharaoh, appreciate the kind words, good sir. TC already given us some locks. We'll get into locks and whatnot here in a second. And I see through you, talk about a GOAT, the absolute GOAT. I see through you in here. Good afternoon. All Crab Shingun, happy Friday. Might not be happy for you. You might not play today. You were listed on the injury report today. So let us know if you have, if you're going to play or not, Alperin. We're interested. Enough fooling around. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the YouTube. We do this every day, 5 times a week, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we do the pre-show Monday through Friday as well. Keith, you ready to get into everything?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's start it off at point guard. Unless you want to do position by position again, we're the captain here. 5-game slate. We could do game by game. We could do position by position.
I'm good with either. It's up to you today.
All right, we're already here at point guard, and we'll get into it here. At the top of point guard, Cade Cunningham 10-9, James Harden 92, Jalen Brunson 91. Cade may be playing this game without Jalen Duren and Tobias Harris and Asar Thompson all but confirmed out. He is listed doubtful. Harden, we already know there is no Jared Allen. Sam Merrill got the midday downgrade to questionable. Jalen Brunson dealing with no Big Cat, no Hart. Talk me through this top tier and how you're breaking it down.
Yeah, I mean, you touched on some of the tanking teams that have just a ton of people on the injury report. Well, when these good teams are playing those tanking teams, they're like, why do we need to play our good players? So that we get guys like Jalen Duren resting in a lot of these spots. So would not surprise me at all if Duren was out. That's obviously a big boost for Cade Cunningham. Hasn't had the massive ceiling here recently. We know that 60 plus is very much in there. He is fully priced, and obviously when you're facing a team that's not really an NBA roster, you have to worry about the blowout as well. So concerns for Cade, big price, obviously a great spot, elite matchup. So don't mind if you can get there. But certainly we're going to talk about some Jalen Brunson in a second as well. I think Harden is fine. He kind of falls in that Cade category where he's priced appropriately. It's a very good matchup for him as well. Dallas hasn't played much defense of late. They could be missing several pieces as well. But when Brunson is sitting here with no Karl Anthony Towns in an absolutely elite matchup against Indiana, it's hard not to go there.
Yeah, and the field is going there. He is currently the highest rostered point guard of the day. He is the 5th highest rostered player of the day. He and 3 of his teammates occupy 4 of the 5 top spots. So it is going to be a chalky Knicks day for good reason, right? No Cat, no Hart. We already know McBride's out. Sohan is doubtful for whatever that matters. But Jalen Brunson has a massive usage rate, a lot of fantasy points per minute. 30% assist percentage as well. Not the biggest assist percentage boost on the team without those players, but the ownership actually goes in reverse of the way that they're priced. Brunson, Harden, Cade. Cade is your obvious, I think, GPP pivot here, just 13%. I will say on the ceiling point too, I know it's like stretches past the 2 games. He has not toppled 30 minutes in each of the last 2 because he's not played a singular fourth quarter minute. So we do have to take that into consideration a little bit. Maybe Memphis could keep it close if Duren doesn't play. Maybe. Second tier down. We'll talk Devin Booker at shooting guards. We have something to talk about over there. Cooper Flagg, point guard only here at 86. Amen Thompson is now under 8K. We just had a comment from TC about how Amen Thompson's price is down. That is accurate. We'll talk Trey at shooting guard. So DeJounte at 72. Emmanuel Quickly at 71. What say you about this 7 to 8K tier?
Yeah, not a ton of interest here. I'm at the top. Flagg is fine. It's a tough matchup against Cleveland. At least it's a nice pace-up spot for him. You worry about Dallas being able to keep up, especially if they're down Najee Marshall. Of course, that does open up a little bit of usage for Flagg if that were to happen. He's fully priced in this spot. He's been great. He contributes in every category. Certainly playable. Just not in love with the price tag there. Let's see here. I think Amen Thompson's a great play. New Orleans obviously is one of the weakest defenses in the league. Maybe slightly better with DeJounte in the fold now, but still below average at best.
19th since the All-Star break.
Yeah. So, and they're sitting at like 25th on the season or something like that. So definitely have seen improvement with DeJounte in the lineup. Speaking of DeJounte, I think he's a fantastic tournament play. The minutes are up. He was over 30 minutes for the first time. Dude's been absolutely crushing. It's not a pretty matchup against Houston, but if New Orleans is going to keep this close, I think DeJounte is a guy to lean on here.
Yes, he has been incredible. Leads the team in both fantasy points per minute and usage rate since returning. On the Amen Thompson front and Houston in general, the Şengün injury is a fascinating thing that we have to wait for, because since the break and basically since DeJounte has returned, the Pelicans are second in pace in the NBA. So it's a really big pace up spot here for Houston, and I want a piece of that against this bad New Orleans defense. So, yeah, just sign me up for Amen Thompson. Quickly, we'll wait on the Scotty Barnes news, but if Scotty sits, I'm sure we'll have more interest as well. The Memphis question every time Ty Jerome is on the slate, Keith. To Ty Jerome or not to Ty Jerome?
I mean, I started out as like, this is a complete fade. There's no way this guy's going to keep doing this. And the guy just keeps doing it. Like, I think you just have to hold your nose, ignore the price tag, and click the button at this point. Apparently, he is a 1.5, 1.6 fantasy point per minute guy nowadays on this depleted Memphis roster. So, terrible matchup against Detroit. Price tag looks gross. Not going to play over 25 minutes. Still going to put him in some lineups.
Doesn't matter. 40 fantasy points incoming. What about the rest of point guard? Like, again, we'll talk Shepherd at shooting guard. Gillespie's here. Like Jordan Goodwin's questionable. Grayson Allen, I think, is off the injury report. If I'm not mistaken, he is. We have Nembhard questionable. We know Siakam's already out, and just absolute nightmare. Like Zubats, they didn't play any of the guys that played yesterday didn't play in the second half. What does that mean for Indiana moving forward? You have Javon Small at 57. We have Brandon Williams at 55. Like, any of that pique your interest?
Yeah, certainly. Obviously, the Memphis situation, Javon Small has been one of their more consistent contributors, has been in the starting lineup. We'll see if that holds today. The price keeps going up, and now he's got a tough matchup against Detroit. So the ownership on him yesterday was absurd. Like, I know he was a fantastic play, and I played him in 70, 80% of my lineups as well, but the field got to him at almost that rate as well. There were some great opportunities on Memphis. Hendricks was one of the guys that came in way low owned. So if Small is going to be popular again as the price continues to climb, and now you have Ty Jerome back in the lineup, I don't know that I certainly don't get to him near as much as I did yesterday. I'll be monitoring Memphis ownership as we approach lock. I'll just leave it like that. Certainly playable with the role that he's had here recently. Williams' minutes have been way down, maybe
until yesterday, randomly.
Right, and that's just kind of what it's been all season. Like he's starting and playing high 20s minutes, and then all of a sudden he's off the bench and playing 16 minutes.
Yeah,
like we're at that point in the season where you just kind of have to take these punches as they come. You're going to get burned on some nights. The fact that role is in there, 28 minutes, like I'm in at 5,500 on that role for sure.
Do you think if Najee is out, they start Brandon Williams? Because they also are going to be down PJ. They would be down PJ, Gafford, Najee. That's 3 starters from yesterday's lineup.
They've done the Caleb Martin thing a couple of times. I think.
So Middleton, Martin, Bagley. That's your that rounds out the starting lineup.
Yeah, I think that'd be my first guess.
Okay. Either way, if all 3 of those players out, Williams should be extended. There was a long pause intentionally there.
Yes.
What about under 5K? And also Javon Small less than 1% owned currently. That's
so I mean that going into that ownership conversation, I think he's a fantastic tournament play at 5,900 for less than anything under 5%. Really, I'd be in.
Is there any value at point guard that you'd want to play?
Sasser's been starting. I don't know that we need to go there. If you want to play a blowout angle, maybe he gets a little additional run today in a blowout. Jose Alvarado has not really had a role that's worth playing recently. Maybe that changes with the Knicks situation today. Again, maybe we see some blowout run there. So a couple of dart throws there, but nothing that I'm super interested in.
Yeah, Alvarado's the one getting ownership between of any value play. He's at about 17%. Sasser is at about 12. If Nembard were to sit, any thought to TJ McConnell, or we're just that ship has sailed?
It's sailed for me, especially when he's up at 4K. Like when he's near
Yeah.
minimum price, I'm fine with it. Just there, I don't think the 25-minute role exists anymore, and that's
No.
you played him knowing he's a great per minute producer and hoping that he got to mid to even low 20s would be fine. It seems like that role is capped about 16, 18 minutes at this point.
Yeah, he's too good. They can't afford it. They
Right.
can't afford him to be in there. Shooting guard we go as Marie Donyeezy is absolutely screaming at us. Also giving us a salute. So salute to you. Krab Shingun also said he's a game time decision. So we'll see. I'm a game time decision too. We'll see.
I am certainly a game time
You
decision.
are absolutely. You know you're out. You're out. You're not playing tonight. You're definitely not playing. Top of shooting guard has Donovan Mitchell, has Devin Booker, has Brandon Ingram, Trey Murphy, Grayson Allen rounds out the 7K and up tier. Mitchell looks good in tournaments. Devin Booker's been on an absolute heater. What say you about this just kind of 7K and up at shooting guard here?
Yeah, lots of ceiling at the top here, obviously. Mitchell has been able to find a ceiling a couple of times next to Harden. No Jared Allen, so even more available for him potentially. Certainly don't mind that. Booker, I think, would be my favorite pick of the top three. As you mentioned, he's been on a heater here recently. I really like his points prop today, even in a tougher matchup against Toronto. If Scotty Barnes is out, the situation improves for him. I mean, we saw it last night, 43 points, 31 shot attempts. Like that, we figured the usage would be here for this guy all season long, and that has started to show up in a big way here recently. I'm probably out on Ingram unless Scotty Barnes sits, then that obviously becomes a target spot. I do like the Trey Murphy shout out that we got in the chat. He's obviously a big ceiling guy, can certainly go there.
Yeah, 40-minute upside in competitive games, and also infinite 3-point make upside as well. Trey Murphy can go on a heater and make 8. A lot of Jalen Green comments. I actually think Jalen Green being this good helps Devin Booker because now there cannot be focus on one. You are picking whether or not to guard Jalen Green, who's on fire, or Devin Booker, and they're both killing it. Would you feel comfortable with Jalen Green's second leg of a back-to-back here?
I do, yeah. He played, I believe it was 32 minutes on the last back-to-back, so we've seen it now. I'm fine with that. I know he did obviously deal with the injury, and then his first back-to-back, his minutes were way down. The score was a little bit out of hand too. But since we have seen one back-to-back with him at full minutes, I feel comfortable going there. He's playing great, and he's taking a ton of shots as well.
Yeah, he was always taking a lot of shots. They just weren't going in. He was just,
and now he's starting to make a lot of them.
Yeah, now he's starting to make them. Reed Shepard, always GPP play. I'm sure his minutes will be way up if they don't play Şengün, or if Şengün doesn't play, I should say. Hart's doubtful, Najee questionable. Is Memphis a complete stay away for you? Coward, obviously, off the injury report today, the game prior to this last one where he sat 13 and 16 in 24 minutes. Is Memphis like completely stay away if it's not Ty Jerome?
For the most part, I think they are. There are still some questionable tags that could change my opinion on this, but if like Gigi Jackson is in, I think Jalen Wells is the other questionable one.
Both questionable, and Taj.
Right. So we could be shorthanded here, and then the equation changes a little bit, but Coward's not probably a primary target since he's missed so much time. I don't see him as one of the guys who could play like 30 minutes tonight.
What do we do with Tari Eason?
I don't know. You tell me.
It's a great spot.
Indeed.
It's a great spot. Even throughout the stretch, he still maintained to a 0.93 fantasy point per minute output, which I think is fine at 5,500 in this spot. I don't 0.93 is less than I'd like, but I don't hate it. I don't hate that number. I don't know if you have a specific threshold in mind that you take a look at with your players that you roster, but if he were to get 30 plus minutes, there's a high ceiling he just needs to make shots, which has been the problem for a little bit now.
Yeah, I mean, he's a guy that does everything. And before, I mean, this is a guy that we played when he had like a 24-minute role. Now that he has that 30-point upside from the starting lineup, it's also changed it a little bit that he's playing next to Durant and Şengün. That obviously takes away from the peripherals a little bit, but I do think there's still ceiling here. I'm fine with it. Not a primary target of mine though.
He is. This is my favorite game to play with you after, because I love when you say that, and then I go, what if I told you Tari Eason was the second highest rostered shooting guard of the day?
Yeah, that's when
you're off the ship.
It becomes way less appealing at that point.
Yep. I love doing that specific because I know, like, you, for those that don't watch or haven't watched you before, like, you are an MME player exclusively. So
yeah, I mean that's a spot that I would identify as somewhere where I could get leverage on the field for sure.
Right. And that's why I like saying that to you, because I think it's a good perspective to have for those that only play tournaments or those that are looking to get into playing tournaments.
Give me Reed Shepherd at half the ownership every time.
Right. Agreed. I mean, the 24 minutes were kind of inexplicable in that Toronto game because it was competitive mostly, and he had been playing so many minutes, and they've been healthy too. And then he just didn't play. That kind of sucked, but there is a high ceiling of minutes for him. What about the value range? We got the Merrill downgrade today. We have some Detroit stuff here. There's Indiana stuff that's gross, but there's Knicks stuff that's something, help me and help everybody through the pain, Keith, because Knicks, we talked about ownership earlier. Knicks are getting a lot of it at shooting guard, or they were getting a lot of it. It's fallen a little bit. Landry Shamet now down to 13% rostered. He's about the 6th highest owned shooting guard. We had the Jordan Clarkson game the other day. There's Duncan Robinson that could be playing without a bunch of regulars. We had a Keon Ellis shout here. Actually, Keon Ellis I think is small forward, power forward. So we'll just talking about shooting guard value.
Yeah, definitely bookmark that Keon Ellis name. I think that's a very interesting call out. It's ugly down here, as you've kind of alluded to. It's some very low per minute players who we're not completely sure about the role. Landry Shamet is obviously the guy that stands out with the next situation. That great matchup against Indiana. It's 30 minutes in the last spot. Like, if he sees that again, you like him to score more than 19 fantasy points, I think.
Yes.
I don't love that he's getting a little bit of ownership. If Clarkson comes in much lower owned, that's another pivot spot that we've talked about. Clarkson has the higher ceiling, I would say, as the higher usage guy. Indiana's not really a team that I want to mess with. Cam Jones is probably going to play a bunch of minutes. He hasn't produced much in his minutes. Max Christie's kind of in that same boat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sorry, I just threw up in my mouth a little.
It's not pretty. Like, look at this is a guy who can play 30 minutes and put up 10 fantasy points. We've seen it multiple times, and recently we've seen that. We've also seen him come out and take 20 shots in these spots as well. It's been a while since we've seen that, but nothing is all that comfortable. Klay Thompson.
That was my next question for you, because he's getting a boatload of ownership right now.
Again, not a player that I love the ownership on. Very scoring dependent. I do think it's an up-tempo game environment that I wouldn't mind getting into, but I'm certainly not excited about that, Cliff.
I think the one thing you can definitively say is when Klay gets on the floor, we're not going to worry about him getting shots off.
Right. Yep. He's going to be firing for sure.
And without potentially Najee, I mean, it could be a really shortened rotation. Just want to let you know what happened here. Update here. Just got the Marier Don Yeezy follow on Twitter. Exclusive.
Nice.
Exclusive. I just wanted to just shout out Marier Don Yeezy. Let's see. I wrote, by the way, your Knicks breakdown. I wrote that exact thing in the playbook. Basically, I would just probably between Clarkson and Shamit, I'd probably just play the lower owned of the two.
Yep, completely
It's right
agree with
now.
that.
It's Clarkson. Clarkson has a 23% usage rate. Shamit doesn't. They're both pretty low fantasy point per minute players, but I just side with the lower owned, and right now that's Clarkson. So that's probably the exact direction I also would go. And I like the Clay shout as well. Let's go to I guess slight hat tip maybe to Kevin Herter if you're playing the blowout narrative. He's starting to get some more minutes in Detroit, and they could be down a bunch of players tonight.
If LeVert comes back, I'd be.
He's probable to play.
Yeah.
Out.
You still think Herter has a role with LeVert in there?
I mean, I think if it's Toby, it would have to be Toby, Asar. We would need like everybody out, basically.
Yeah.
It's definitely a little more risky. I don't know what LeVert's role is gonna be. They don't seem to want to extend him.
Yeah, no, I think LeVert's still going to be in that 16 to 18 minute range, but I think it's basically Herter or Green who gets the extended run behind with LeVert in there. I don't know that it's both. Is my concern.
It's usually Green. It's usually Green.
That's the way I'm leaning as well.
Small forward Kevin Durant in a great spot, possibly even greater if Alperen Şengün is ruled out. He is the only spend up at shooting guard. I saw Anthony in chat. Shout out to you, Anthony, for always dropping by. We appreciate your support. Asking about Sadiq Bey. We'll go down to Bridges since he's getting ownership. How about Mikal Bridges up? What is your interest level at the top half of small forward?
Yeah, KD looks great. Obviously, even better if Şengün doesn't play. Grayson's probably going to be on a minutes limit. Can't go there. Barrett's been seeing significant minutes here recently. One of the more competitive games on the slate as well. So I don't mind going to that spot. Walker is a wait and see, probably pricey in this matchup for me. We talked Jalen Green. I like that play quite a bit. The Sadiq Bey thing is interesting as well. A guy who's shown off a big ceiling. It's kind of tough with DeJounte in there to believe that he's going to find that as often as he was without DeJounte. So I don't love it, but I mean, it's interesting for sure. He's played way better than any of us expected this season. I think we can certainly say that.
Yes.
And then you get to Bridges, who, again, one of these guys who's getting ownership, not a great per minute player. That's an uncomfortable one as well. And I know that you're not a fan of clicking the Mikal Bridges button.
Dude, I have said it. I think John has asked me like every show, and I literally have said to him, I was like, I don't think I have lost an ounce of sleep not playing Mikal Bridges once this year.
Yeah. I mean,
maybe once. I mean, this game, and I think that was like an afternoon game. The Spurs and Knicks were like a midday 1 p.m. I think that was a Sunday afternoon. I didn't even have to worry about playing him.
But to your point there, like, is the matchup against the Spurs really the spot you predict him to absolutely go nuts? No, it's impossible to predict when he does it. So I'm with you. Like, he's generally not going to burn me. If the field is going to chase it in this great spot, then I will let them. I'll come in underweight and try to find some pivots.
He's the highest owned small forward of the day. He's Brunson. I said Brunson was the 5th highest roster player of the day. It's swapped. Now Mikal Bridges is the 5th highest roster player of the day. I did, Keith, and you guys can find this in the Fantasy Alarm NBA bet tracker. I did bet Mikal Bridges over 3.5 assists today.
That's the beauty of player props. You can you can think there's value on a certain line, and then you don't have to play them in DFS. You can get your exposure that way.
Yeah, last Christmas game, Sylvester, 100%. I was watching with my son. They were doing the Disney character game, and we were watching Mikal Bridges go crazy as like Goofy, which was a good time. Said nobody because it was Mikal Bridges going off, and Wemby went off in that Christmas game as well. Marie asked Shepard or Eason. We both are, I think, in tournaments. Reed.
Yeah, I'm not loving the ownership that's currently projected for Eason. So I'll take. I know neither one has been great recently, but give me the lower owned Shepherd in that spot for sure.
Vic, we'll revisit this conversation when we get through all the positions. Okay, we'll come back because I don't want to. I don't want to like spoil if we have power forward or center. We'll come back to your question. I promise. We're here at small forward. We'll get to Chris Middleton here. We have a question from Demetrius: Clarkson or Middleton?
If the Clarkson ownership holds, I lean to Clarkson in that spot. I think.
Agreed.
I'm a little concerned that he could catch some steam as we get closer to lock here, though.
Let's see if there's any updates here on the Clarkson ownership. Nope. I have not. Shamit's still at 13.5 and Clarkson's still about 8.5. So we'll keep monitoring that ownership as we progress. We have some more questions. Center, all these centers. Okay. And I did see Tyler Burton was added. We're not even going to talk about Tyler Burton until we know who's playing for Memphis because they have Spencer's back. We don't know if Wells. I mean, it's just a nightmare. So we could get to Tyler Burton when we figure out what else Memphis is doing. What else are we doing at small forward? Keon Ellis was a topic of conversation earlier. The role has been great, and Sam Merrill got the downgrade midday. What say you for Keon Ellis here?
Yeah, honestly, we've talked about ownership a couple of times as we've gone through this. I hope Sam Merrill plays because Keon Ellis is a fantastic low-owned tournament option, in my opinion, at this point. Could get a little extra run in a blowout. Like you said, the role has been great. He's been shooting the ball like an insane person. Like he adds the defensive stuff already. If the shooting stays hot, like the upside is tremendous here. I don't know if Merrill gets ruled out. I fear that the field is just going to flock here. I think he's catching some ownership anyway. I've heard his name around the industry a little bit. So I think he's kind of the popular, like under the radar pick today. But I'm into it. I think the role's been tremendous, and it's an amazing spot against Dallas.
14% right now.
Yeah, so. And I think that could get up even into the 20% range, even with Merrill plays. If Merrill's out, then I think that rockets into like the 30-40% range. And then it becomes pretty uncomfortable.
Yeah, then it becomes pretty uncomfortable because he is very volatile, but I agree. Yeah, about mid-teens percentage, we'll see. At that point, I would just simply play Jordan Clarkson. If we keep ballooning, if Ellis keeps ballooning. Anthony just asked Jalen Tyson would feel more comfortable with it if Merrill's out.
Yeah, agree. The role has just been kind of going away a little bit as Keon Ellis has been taking on a bigger role. It's kind of been at the expense of Tyson.
Okay. Roto Grinders has him 25. I mean, 25 to 15, that's still a lot of it's a lot of ownership for Keon. We're talking about Keon Ellis with basically everybody in except Jared Allen, right? It's not like we're playing a 15 to 25% Keon Ellis with like Mitchell or Harden or Mobley out. It's those three players they still exist today. So definitely a little uncomfortable. Anything else at small forward?
Let's see if we can find another name here. Nothing that looks too appealing to me.
Agreed. Totally agree. And there doesn't have to be. There does not have to be. At the top of power forward, Scotty Barnes questionable, Pascal doubtful, Evan Mobley 8,200 elite spot, but is he going to play enough minutes? Zion Williamson, OG Anunoby getting a bunch of ownership. Then we have GG and Jabari here, 6K and up.
Yeah, I mean, Barnes is one of the more interesting questionable tags on the slate. If he's active, you can certainly play him for a ceiling. I'm fine with him at that $8,500 price tag, even in a tough matchup. If he's out, then obviously we're flocking to other Raptors. Mobley, I'm interested in. I think it's a big ceiling spot. If Dallas can keep the game semi-close, there's obviously some concern for that. Zion should be just a smash at 7,500. You would think.
Yes.
the ceiling hasn't been there, and we've talked about the other three guys who've been doing it. Not only is DeJounte playing awesome, we know that Murphy and expected Murphy to be awesome, but now we've added Sadiq Bey overachieving and playing better than anyone expected. There just isn't as much to go around for Zion as we're used to seeing. So the price tag is appropriate, I would say. I still think there's big time ceiling at 7,500, even in a tough matchup. I don't know. It feels like there should be more ceiling than there's been recently, though.
What do you make of the OG ownership? Are you buying 27%, probably higher come roster lock, OG Anunoby?
Yeah, I'm in on OG because I think the ceiling is a lot higher than Bridges. Not that I want to go over the field on that big number necessarily, but where I want to full fade Bridges and go underweight and find pivots around him, OG is a guy that I'll basically match the field with because I do think he has ceiling that can burn you.
Agreed. I fully agree. And it's not because people are out. His numbers don't change. No matter who's off the floor. You take Towns and Hart off the floor, he still has a 20% usage and is still 0.9 fantasy points per minute with a 60 fantasy point upside. It just is what it is. He has a ceiling, and if he makes shots, that ceiling is usually met. So I agree. I like OG a bunch here. For what it's worth, since the All-Star break too, Indiana 30th in defense. And they've also played at one of the fastest paces in the NBA. So double whammy. It's also why I like Clarkson so much tonight as a pivot off some of this stuff. I think the spot is elite. Marier, I agree. I think Mobley looks great. Dallas still allows the most points in the paint. No matter who they send out there at center, they allow more points in the paint than anybody else.
And him playing the 5 with Allen out it also raises his ceiling, in my opinion. That double-double is so much more likely with Allen out of the lineup. I like that call quite a bit.
Yeah, it's a great point. It's a very good point. Is Scotty Barnes better play than Mobley? I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Scotty Barnes has been horrible. Not saying he couldn't be turning around. Seems like something's wrong. Just seems like we're going through one of those Scotty Barnes stretches. How likely are you to get to Jabari? I don't play him, but it's a good matchup.
Yeah, I have played a little bit when he was on that nice run there. I haven't played him recently now that he's fallen back a little bit. Probably not tonight either.
What about the rest of power forward? We have Toby questionable, Prosper, Hendricks. They might be in a timeshare with 41-year-old Taj Gibson. Royce O'Neal's 52. Anything there? And you're allowed to say no. You could just be like, nope, let's move on. Stop wasting my time.
So Hendricks has been a GPP darling of mine over the last couple of weeks because, yes, he can absolutely destroy you on nights, but he can also go for 40 fantasy points on other nights. I had a ton of him last night at 4% ownership.
Sharp.
It was a good play last night. I'd be interested in, again, the price tag on these guys makes it tougher and tougher. But when we're talking about guys like Hendricks and Jerome that have 40% or 40-point upside, if no one's rostering them, it's a good idea to take some shots here. I think I'll splash a few Hendricks even if Gibson is active. It feels really uncomfortable in that spot, but I think he can still find the 24-minute role with Gibson active.
Oh, it's
risky for sure.
It's a good one. I like I feel like we've done a show together and Memphis has been on the slate every time and you've said the same thing every time. Because it's true, because he does have a big ceiling. What about value? Here at power forward? Ron Holland was getting all the ownership earlier today. He's still getting in the teens of ownership. So the field is kind of getting to a 4K Ron Holland, 3,800. Sorry, Beef Stew's 44. Beef Stew's ownership would obviously skyrocket if Duran was ruled out. Anything down here?
Beef Stew is interesting as a pivot off of Holland. He's a little bit more expensive, but Memphis is their biggest weakness is big bodies. Like they just don't have any. Like Hendricks is they're big. Now if Taj comes back, maybe who knows what Taj Gibson looks like at 40 years old.
I could tell you.
It's not going to be pretty, I don't think.
I could tell you.
But I think Beef Stew could get a little extra run here, and I think it's a fantastic matchup for bigs.
Yeah, and it's a pivot currently because if Jalen Duren gets ruled out, there's no
Stew's going to be the chalkiest player on the slate.
Yeah, because the power forward center eligibility, he'll soar past Mitch Rob's ownership.
And even if Tobias Harris is out, that I think Stewart's minutes will go up, and he should be popular, even if it's just Harris.
They might go double big.
Yeah, we've seen Stewart start alongside of Duren plenty of times. Like I don't know how Memphis would even begin to attack that lineup.
That would be funny. That would be really funny if they did that.
I wouldn't be surprised to see both of them rest, honestly, Harris and Duren. Just like it's Memphis. What do they need to play him for? It seems like a good spot for him to get a couple of big men a little bit of rest here.
Could be the case for sure. And if one of them sit, you do have Ron Holland at 3,800. You do have Javonte Green at 4K. TC's talking Mo Diawara. Any thoughts? I mean, he's again, they're down a bunch of pieces.
Yes, I think there's a path where he could play 20 minutes in this spot. We've talked about Clarkson and Shamet. Like, what if Diawara is the guy that hits 4 or 5 threes? I like it, honestly. That's a perfect large field GPP play.
Perfect large field tournament play, indeed. Let's go to center, finish this thing off, get a core built. I find it crazy, by the way. It's 5:44. I know main slate kicks off at 7:30. We have not got a single piece of news this whole show.
Yeah, that is a bit concerning. It's not concerning because slate dynamics, we didn't really talk about that much at the top of the show. All the games are at the same time. So
yeah, except the Houston game. The Houston game.
30 minutes later. So it's Şengün might be the only thing that we're waiting on. Like that's the only thing we could possibly be waiting on because the other 4 games all kick off at 7:30.
Yeah, but just we have Heat Saturday news. You know, that's the news cycle right now. Center. Speaking of news cycle, as you guys can see here, a lot of orange, a lot of red. Karl Anthony Towns, darker shade of orange. You know, he's doubtful. Şengün is questionable. Duren got the questionable tag after playing like 15 minutes last night and foul trouble. Zubac didn't play in the second half last night, played 16 minutes. I saw the question about Anthony asked, is Nembhard suicide? Anything Indiana feel like anything regular Indiana seems suicide. Talk to me about like center as a whole. Like I don't care where you start. Just talk to me about center because it's a nightmare. Like Şengün's just talk center. Let's just talk shop here.
Yeah, I honestly don't have a ton of interest in spending up.
It's a great value. It's a great value position.
Yeah, there's value at the position, and I agree with the value. So I don't know that I'm going to take all that many shots up here. Like even if Şengün plays, we've seen the roll fade a little bit. Duren has had foul trouble a couple of times in the past few games. You have blowout risk here. Like, can he get there and pay off 7,900 in 22 minutes? It's possible, but I don't know that I want to bet a ton of my bullets on that. Then we kind of like you get to this mid range and it's kind of a wasteland. I don't think I can play Jay Huff with the state of Indiana. I don't think I can play any Indiana players, like you said. If Zubac or Toppin is back, I'd be really concerned about the role there.
Toppin's in. Right.
So probably not going there. We talked Hendricks a little bit. I think Omax is Prosper is in that same conversation with Hendricks, a guy who can find a ceiling. Again, this Memphis situation, let's see who's active is kind of how I'm playing it by ear. I'm not saying I'm not interested in Memphis, but we need to see who's in and who's out for them.
It's a complete impossible situation to talk about outside of Ty Jerome.
Yes. And all these these plays are not necessarily useful because you have the Mitchell Robinson and Marvin Bagley plays, which are elite. like there's chalk to be faded, like Mikal Bridges that we've talked about, and then there's chalk that you should probably just try to get over the field on. Get your leverage by having more exposure than the field. I feel that way about both Robinson and Bagley. Two very good fantasy per minute producers who are going to be stepping into bigger minutes today.
If you were playing one center tonight and you were standing on business, would it be Marvin Bagley or Mitchell Robinson?
The matchup for Mitch Rob is so good that I think I have to lean there. I think Bagley probably plays more minutes, but the matchup for Mitch Rob is the way I'm leaning right now.
Yeah. He just might not do anything. Like, I don't mean that in like a disrespectful way, because he's like such a good rebounder and shot blocker. But like, I at least know Marvin Bagley will go down swinging, offensively. Now, I say that Mitchell Robinson without Towns and Hart this year is 1.2 fantasy points per minute. So like, I can also acknowledge that Mitchell Robinson has been an elite fantasy producer. And this is also the first back-to-back Bagley's played since he returned. So I think they both could end up playing 24 to 26 minutes potentially. So I also would lean Mitchell Robinson, but it's really close because I definitely have more confidence in Marvin Bagley on the offensive side of the ball. We've had a boatload of B-Ball Paul comments here. He is an elite play if Jalen Duren sits.
Yes.
Full stop.
Yeah. Full stop. Yep. Don't need to say anything else there. Elite.
Full stop. Elite fantasy play.
He would vault Mitch Rob if Duren sits.
Dude, he play blow, like he would get 35. He might play 35 minutes tonight if they blow out. Anything else worth mentioning? I guess if Şengün sits, where would Capella rank in your hierarchy at center?
I don't think he would vault Mitch Rob if Şengün sits. Let me pull up. You have recent Şengün out games minutes for Capella. I feel like he hasn't been like truly extended.
No, he hasn't.
Like we still see 20 minutes basically is my recollection.
Yeah, because they just go with like the Reed Shepherd, and they could play Jabari. You could put Jabari at the 5.
Right. Yeah. So I don't think that Capella is better than Mitch Rob if Şengün is out.
Bagley or Capella?
Bagley.
Okay. Paul Reed or Capella?
Paul Reed.
If Capella's starting and Reed's not.
Yeah, that's tougher. Still Paul Reed.
Yeah. Here's a good question from Rolly. If Duren is out, can you play both Beef Stew and Paul Reed?
Price tags what I'm checking here. Yeah, I think you can. I mean,
Reed's free. And and Beef Stew can be played at, you don't have to, you can play him at whatever position you want, because
and this is especially true if Harris is also out. If Tobias is out, like they both could start.
They both could start. Yep. Agreed. We had some questions. I want to get back to our boy Vic's comment. He asked us 2 contrarian plays at any position that are optimal. If you can see the future, look into your crystal ball and tell me 2 contrarian plays that are optimal tonight, Keith.
Yeah, if we knew the answer to this, we'd have the key to the slate, right? Let me see here. How contrarian do we have to be here? Let's say under 10 or
just do under 15%.
Okay.
If you have an under 10, do 1 under 15, 1 under 10.
How about Reed Shepherd?
Okay, I like that.
And Jordan Clarkson.
Reed Shepherd, Jordan Clarkson. Clarkson was mine, so you stole it. You're a thief. I will go, barring everybody ruled out for Detroit, I'll go Cade Memphis keeps that game competitive enough to get full run for Cade. He's 12%. And my sub 10% will be, I want to say Brandon Williams because you stole Clarkson from me.
I'll give you Clarkson, and I'll pivot to Taylor Hendricks. How's that?
Ooh, I like Taylor Hendricks. That's a good one. Yeah, 0.46% rostered Taylor Hendricks right now. I would say that qualifies. What is this news? Let's see. We got Daniel Gafford out. PJ Washington out. Najee Marshall in. Makes things way worse.
Yeah.
I was hoping that wouldn't be the case. We had some other questions here that I wanted to address. Stan asked Jay Huff or Jakob Poeltl.
I don't think I can play Jay Huff with.
What if Zubats doesn't play?
Yeah, then this is a question. I still think it's Poeltl for me.
Okay. We are getting some Detroit. Let's see. Asar out, which he was doubtful. That can't be it. Come on, JB. Give us more. Is that it? Rick Carlisle asked about his strategy. Quote, we're not going to make public our plans for every game. That would be foolish. End quote.
The least shocking quote of all time from Rick Carlisle.
Rick Carlisle going to Obi Toppin. Can we trust Obi Toppin?
No.
No.
Why? I don't think he can play over 20 minutes at this point.
I don't think so either. If Şengün is out from Michael, Amen Thompson or Kevin Durant?
Good question. Yeah, that's obviously super close. Either one could go absolutely nuclear. I think I'm leaning slightly to Amen in this spot. A little bit of a discount, can do a little bit of everything. Give me Thompson.
Okay, I agree. More news. Ivica Zubats in will be limited. Same thing with Andrew Nembhard. He will be limited. Scotty Barnes is available. And Colin Murray Boyles, who was downgraded to doubtful earlier, has now been downgraded to out. So a lot of news coming out right now.
Yeah, that Indiana situation is you just cannot touch it at this point.
Nothing. Full fade.
Yep.
Just ignoring. It's only 10 teams, and now you make it only 9.
Correct.
DePrince got here late. Dejan Giroux is also signed by the Grizzlies today to make things even worse than they already are. Let's see. What else do we got? Andrew said Donovan Mitchell. He's playing a lot of Donovan Mitchell. Anthony just said Duncan Robinson. What do you think about Duncan Robinson?
I'm fine with it. I don't love it. I don't think he gets extended blowout run, and he's not a great per minute producer. He can make a bunch of threes and get you there, though. So I'm fine with it, but not a high priority play for me today.
Let's see. Are you getting any Holland? Don wants to know.
Very little because the field is getting some Holland. And I don't think he's that necessary of a play.
Yeah, he's not great per minute.
Yeah.
If like Duran and Toby were to be ruled out, I think Paul Reed's a better play per dollar.
And I talked about Beef Stew as a pivot as well.
And Beef Stew. Yeah, and Beef Stew as well. TC getting a little crazy. Jonathan Mobo. But Scotty's in. Scotty's in. We don't need to do that anymore.
Yeah, I mean, he might see. No, he's not even going to see backup center. They have Mamu.
Yeah. No. Yeah. More upside. Donovan Mitchell or Cooper Flagg from Stan.
Donnie probably has a little bit more upside, even with Harden there.
Anthony asks about Towns. We talked about that. Diawara, Paul Reed. The Dread just wants to send blessings. Salute to you, the Dread. We appreciate you tuning in. You're always in here. We appreciate you very much. Marie doesn't mind Pirtle. Yeezy is in the stream as well. Just trying to if you guys have questions, get them in before we get out of here. TC Thomas Brown. TC's just throwing out the random centers all around the NBA. DePrince says center pay down spot.
Yeah, definitely a pay down spot at center. We talked about plenty of options there. The Thomas Bryant call out is a little interesting because we've targeted Dallas with centers so often. If Mobley absolutely destroys them or Mitchell destroys them and it's out of hand, maybe Bryant can find 20 minutes and he's good per minute. So like it's a little crazy, but not completely out of left field.
Shooting guard, should I play Green from Suns or Harris from Dallas? Devin Harris definitely doesn't play for Dallas anymore. He did. I think he's their radio announcer now. Williams?
Maybe.
So is this a Brandon Williams? Maybe. Key, restructure that comment, please. Okay, so we have a little more information.
Najee.
It's Najee. It's shooting guard, so I'm just trying to I guess Najee or Williams.
He's got football on the mind. He's Najee Harris.
Najee Harris. Marshall. Oh, good one. That's a good one. Good. That's a great pull right there. I think
that's what he meant.
Okay, but Jalen Green, right? Either way.
Yeah, the answer is Jalen Green, no matter who it is.
That was a good pull there. Do we get a low-owned Bam tonight? Bam plays tomorrow.
What's his price? Because if it's almost 10K again, then yes, he'll be low owned.
Yes. Bam Adebayo will play tomorrow. If Dern is out, Reed or Bagley?
Depends on the starting lineup a little bit. They could just start Beef Stew if Tobias is in. And in that case, I'd go Bagley. If Reed is starting, then it's Reed for me.
Okay, let's get let's just get like a core four here, because literally everything could change by the end of the slate. I don't care positionally the decision that we make here.
We're going to cheap, at least one cheap center for sure.
Yeah, we'll go Mitch. We're gonna do Mitchell. We'll do Mitchell Robinson. Do we feel Robinson Brunson is like a service, the start that we want?
I mean, I think a lot of teams are going to start this way, but I think it's right today.
Yes, but we differentiate elsewhere, right? Like that's how you can take down a tournament. Give me two more core plays as it stands right now, with the way that things are shaping out.
Let's see here.
Is it a Men Thompson? Is
I like it? That. And that becomes so good if Şengün is out. I like him on his own, even if Şengün plays. But agreed. It becomes elite if Şengün is out. I like Jalen Green a lot. I like DeJounte Murray a lot.
Let's go. Jalen fits better.
Okay.
Because we
that small forward eligibility is so nice.
Yeah. We'll play him at small forward, and we'll keep it there, and then I'm gonna go update the playbook, projections, all that stuff. Indiana just said McConnell's in, Neesmith in, Toppin in. They're just totally unplayable. We currently have two unplayable situations: Memphis and Indiana, basically unplayable because we don't know who's playing for Memphis. So we'll leave it here.
Memphis is to be determined. I have a little more interest in Memphis than you. Like, are they really going to play these new guys a ton? Are they going to play Taj Gibson 18 minutes? I don't think so. So I'm more interested. Like, obviously, there's way more risk than when Memphis has 8 guys. We know to play Memphis then. this is a way different situation. If they end up with 10 though, I'm going to be in on Memphis a little bit, especially if like Duren is sitting.
It's spooky. I don't know how many they're going to end up because Burton signed yesterday, Giroux signed today, Coward's back, Jerome's. It's all scary over there in Memphis, but we will see, right? They could just rule all the questionables out, and then we're back to playing some Memphis, Keith. So I agree, but right now, if any of those questionable tags are ruled in, it's a hell
really
no,
scary.
dog. You know. All right, guys, we're gonna get out of here. Go enjoy your weekend. Happy Friday to everybody. Be safe this weekend. Win some tournaments. We'll catch you guys Sunday night for the Monday night